Hola, soy María, and this is an embodied Spanish class for DayTranslations. And today I wanted to talk about the past. I wanted to show you how to talk about the past in Spanish. And the first thing you need to know is that there are four past tenses in Spanish, and one of them is one that maybe you need to know about, but you can choose to use or not, and I'll explain why. Okay, so the four past tenses in Spanish are de perfecto o preterito perfecto, de indefinido o preterito indefinido, also known as the preterite, de imperfecto, preterito imperfecto, and de pluscuamperfecto or preterito pluscuamperfecto. And these four tenses dance together when we tell stories about the past or when we tell anecdotes. And the four are necessary, well, the four or the three, it depends, but let's say that the four are necessary to express when the action happens, but also to set up the context of that past story. And in this video, I wanted to give you an overview of these four tenses, but we are not going to go into a lot of detail with them because we could be here for hours. So let's start with Preterito Perfecto, and that's the one I told you that you may not need to use it. That's almost a choice, and why it is a choice. So the Preterito Perfecto is a tense that is only used in Spain and not in the entire country. So there are regions where this tense is not used, like for example Galicia. We do not. They do not use this tense, and nor it is used in Latin America. But I do like it because I grew up with it. I am from Burgos, which is Castilla y León, and in this region we do use this tense. Therefore, I am familiar with it and I like the nuances it brings, but you do not need to use it if it creates confusion. However, if you find that it's going to help you express nuance or express something that feels natural to you, then I would recommend you use it. So the main difference between the preterito perfecto and the indefinido is that el preterito perfecto is used for past actions that have a connection with the present. Because, for example, let's say this week I went to the cinema. This week is not finished for me, so I would use the preterito perfecto. This week, esta semana, he ido al cine. He ido al cine is preterito perfecto. Instead of saying, this week I went, esta semana fui al cine. Fui es indefinido. But that is, for me, because I am familiar with preterito perfecto. But this is the main difference. So, preterito perfecto is used to talk about actions that are perceived that have a connection with the present, or life experiences. So a life experience, for example, I am alive, right? So I would say, he ido a China as a life experience. I went to China, I've gone to China. I would use he ido a China because it is a life experience. But in the moment I give you a specific point in the past, I had to use indefinido. For example, in 2020, I went to China. En el 2020, fui a China. En el 2020 has no connection with this year, this present that I am now. So you see the difference? If I express the idea as a life experience with no time frame, then I can use Preterito Perfecto. But if I want to give you a specific time in the past where that action happened, then I have to use indefinido. So before we move on to talk a bit more about the rest of the three tenses, I want you to have a look at the conjugation. So I am not going to focus on the conjugation in this video because, as I said, it would take us a long time. So I'm just going to give you an overview as to when to use these tenses. Now, el pretérito indefinido, the preterite, is used for past actions that are seen as completed and that happened at a definite time in the past. So whenever you have a time expression that is in the past, then you'll need most likely el indefinido. So for example, el año pasado fuimos de vacaciones a Portugal. Last year we went on holidays to Portugal. It is also used, el indefinido, the preterite, is also used for actions in the past that have no relation with the present, such as single events that contain a date or a specific period of time, as the sentence I've just shared with you. And it is also used for a series of actions in the past. Like imagine a movie where there is a series of actions that make the movie progress. When you would be telling that movie, those series of actions would go in the preterito. So for example, the main character, la protagonista, se levantó, se vistió, tomó un café y fue al trabajo. So the main character got up, got dressed, had a coffee and went to work. This is a series of actions that are making the story progress. Therefore, we use indefinido. Keep the idea of the movie in mind. So to talk about the actions that make the plot, the story progress, we use indefinido. But when we are describing the context of the movie, where the movie is set, the weather, the mood, all these things, they are not making the story progress. They are giving you more information about the story. They are giving you a context. For the context, we use imperfecto, right? So it is used for description, and description may be referred to what the weather was like, or how were the people feeling. So to talk about mood, we probably are going to need imperfecto. Also to describe the situation, the set of the situation. What was the situation in which this action happened? For all these things, you will need imperfecto. So for example, cuando tenía 12 años jugaba en el parque. When I was 12 years old, I played in the park. That is not an action, but is more a description of the past. Another example, it was very cold and I didn't have a coat when I met my friend. Hacía mucho frío y no tenía un abrigo cuando me encontré con mi amigo. So the first two actions go in imperfecto because they are describing the context of the action, and the action itself goes in indefinido. We also use imperfecto for actions that happen in the past but that are not seen as completed. It implies that the past action did not have a definite beginning or a definite end. So for example, cuando vivía en Londres, todavía no conocía a Peter. When I was living in London, I still didn't know Peter. Cuando vivía en Londres, we don't know if that has ended or not. It's something that is kind of floating in in the air, and therefore we use imperfecto. And also we use imperfecto to talk about habits or routinary actions, and we would translate this with by used to. So for example, hacía yoga todas las mañanas. I used to do yoga every morning. Yeah. And finally, the final tense is, I think, the most easily recognizable to use is el pluscuamperfecto. And this one is just used to talk about an action that happened in the past previous to another action that also happened in the past. So, for example, cuando llegué a casa, él ya se había ido. When I arrived home, he had already gone. So, llegué a casa, indefinido, past. Él ya se había ido. He had already gone. That happened before I arrived home. So, it's past, previous to another past action. And this is all. I'm going to leave you just with one sentence that combines these three tenses, and then that's it. Okay, so Pedro estaba muy cansado porque se había acostado muy tarde la noche anterior, por lo que no oyó el despertador a la mañana siguiente. Pedro was very tired because that's the description. He was very tired. Estaba muy cansado porque se había acostado muy tarde la noche anterior. Because he had gone to sleep very late the previous night. That's past, that's prior, what's happening that last night. So, por lo que no oyó el despertador. And that's why he didn't hear the alarm the following morning. So he was very tired because he had gone very late the previous night, and that's why he didn't hear the alarm the following morning. Three tenses, all dancing together harmoniously. And yeah, this is all from me today. In other videos, I will talk about these different tenses in more detail so you can see the conjugation and all that. In this one, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of all the four tenses or three tenses in the past in Spanish. This is all from me, and see you soon. Hasta luego.